Part of this campaign is to introduce you to my vision of prosperity, a new prosperity, a new hyperstimulus that could lift us all out of poverty and despair, to tap into the huge talent of this country. But part of it is to demonstrate my abilities and my understanding of key issues so that you can understand that I actually know what I'm talking about, at least that I can bring something of value to this vision, to this project, to this plan of action. So today I'm going to try and address the housing crisis. I'm going to try and help you understand my thinking on the subject and my background skill, my background interest in architecture, design and urban planning. So let's begin with this. This is a design concept of my own, a concept for a millionaire super home, for millionaires who want to live in a private retreat, who want a bit of privacy and seclusion and security, but also an environmentally friendly one in that the entire structure of the building, a luxury super home for the super rich, is lifted entirely off the ground. In this way, it's possible to enjoy the view of your large parkscape if you're super rich, and also enjoy the privacy and security. It's also a way to reduce the impact on the ground. There's a minimum amount of ground area taken up for a relatively large luxury home. That's the first of my visions. That's one I drew up many, many years ago. It's a sample of my work. Here is another part of my vision. This is part of a pitch I proposed to Manchester University many years ago for their project called ID Manchester. Here is an illustration of a student village I drew up, a design which sits on top of a large research building. The roof was empty, so I decided to fill it with over 600 student homes. But I was inspired by Harry Potter to create a Harry Potter-esque type huddle in a style of a Victorian structure. So what you have is lots of narrow little streets, tall buildings, and lots of fun and entertainment for the students. I wanted to inspire them with a certain sense of magic in the design and creating this small, beautiful little community. I didn't win the pitch, but I love the design of my own work, and I'm sure that one day I'll get around to building one or more of these small student villages. Those are samples of my own work, samples of my own design, my own concepts, not only the engineering and design concepts, but also the business and finance modelling behind them. And that's also a key to how I'm going to try and address the housing crisis in this country. And the housing crisis in this country has been with us for a very long time. Nowadays, they talk about maybe building 1 or 2 million homes to try and alleviate the housing crisis. Many years ago, they used to talk about a need for 5 million homes to try and relieve the housing crisis. I believe today, with the increase in population and increasing demand, we're more likely to need 8 or more million good quality homes where people can live dignified, secure, safe and healthy lives. And that's a problem, because if we do actually try to solve the housing crisis, we're going to face the challenge, the economic challenge of what that does to the country. To begin with, the banks and the finance community in general are very, very strongly, very closely tied into the housing sector, which means if you solve the housing crisis, this is likely to affect housing prices. House prices will crash. Nowadays, the Bank of England stress tests the banks to ensure that they can withstand a massive fall in house prices, as much as 40%, to make sure that they can withstand the strain and still keep going, to still stay in business without needing the government or the Bank of England to bail them out. Obviously, if we are going to build a massive amount of homes, we've got to deal with that tremendous issue, how it's going to affect the banks. The other problem is if house prices do come down because we've solved the housing crisis and therefore we've changed the entire housing market and house prices come down, but that could leave very large numbers of people with negative equity. That means your mortgage debt to the bank might be £200,000, but now your house is only worth £100,000. And that's something both the banking system and the negative equity, which my overall prosperity strategy is going to have to solve. It's going to have to address how the banks are affected and how the banks can be insulated against solving the housing crisis, and how people individually can also be helped. But there's a third point, a very important point for UK manufacturing. If we aim to build 8 million high quality homes, that is a huge stimulus to the manufacturing economy, a vast investment in UK manufacturing, an opportunity to invest in UK manufacturing to make everything that goes into our homes. Obviously, we can think about the doors, the windows, the locks, the bolts, the nuts, the screws, the timber, the walls, the brick, the plumbing, the insulation, everything. Think about all the components that go into the actual structure of the house, but also all the core furniture that goes into a new home, kitchen furniture, bathroom furniture, all the furniture around the house. We build 8 million new homes. That is 8 million new sets of kit, 8 million new sets of furniture. And that is a massive opportunity to tie UK manufacturing into a home building programme, so that the stimulus to the building industry also becomes a massive stimulus to the broader range of UK manufacturing. And that's part of my vision of how we might solve the housing crisis. As part of my vision of how we might stimulate a broader range of the UK economy, to bring together everything, all the housing sector and all the broader manufacturing sector, into one single integrated strategy that will benefit us all, as well as, of course, addressing the various issues like the banking crisis, the negative equity, and so on. That's my vision of prosperity, and that's my skill for the housing sector. If you approve, then please spread the word. Tell everyone. Come and join my army of prosperity, and let's keep going. Let's see if we can change the country today. Thanks for your time and patience. See you soon. Bye for now.